let me just start by saying I really appreciate you putting everything down and showing up when I called.
You didn't call. You knocked me out and dragged me here.
Oh yeah, sorry about that. It was leg day. Had to do something. Anyway, you know how the channel is just sucking right now?
What?
Yeah, it sucks. I mean, I know I tell you this once or twice a year, but really, it sucks. Lucky you though, I'm here to save your hide. Behold, Team Retrogue, but better.
Here we go.
I'm thinking to myself of a plan. Oh, sorry about that. I don't know how that got snuck in there. That was for my cat Seamus. His birthday's coming up too. He'll always be a baby to me though. Sorry. Anyway, so have you heard of this? What? Dude, is that a slide?
What? No, not at all. No, I'm listening.
Literally, I heard that thing from over here. It's loud as hell, metal hinge, which is great. How was I not gonna hear that?
Sorry, continue.
Okay, well, did I mention the internet yet?
But multiple times.
Ah, good, because here's the deep question that we're all facing. What is an internet? I tell you what it is. Money. Lots of it too. We don't have enough money, and I was thinking we use the internet to get money. It's a Dude, is that a Steam Deck?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Literally the size of a full-grown cat. You think I'm not gonna notice you playing with a Steam Deck?
I'm so sorry. It's just, the pain of the being knocked out. I'm just, needed something for a minute. Please, continue.
Listen, the blunt force trauma shouldn't stop you from being inspired by me. This isn't the first time I've attacked you.
Nor will it be the last.
Anyway, I'm thinking that house of yours.
So bored.
Man, he really goes on, doesn't he?
Where'd you come from?
Just talks and talks and talks. I like the cat background though. Got a certain pizzazz to it. Really brings you in.
This guy wants more power.
I mean, it wouldn't be the worst idea you could do. Say, you look slightly bored.
Yeah, I just said I was bored.
You know what? Anyway, screw this guy. Let me be your hero one more time. Want a little escape? He's not going to notice something small, and he's certainly not going to hear that thing either. I think that two-step process is. Who's going to remember this stuff? You know what they'll remember? They'll remember you doing a solo run of Pokemon Red. So, you can thank me later. So in conclusion, 3 simple words. Conclusion and do it. I think I can't make myself any more. Dude, what is that?
Oh, nothing. It's a clock.
Oh, you're keeping track of time?
Yeah, I want to keep track of all the time you're spending.
Oh, that's true. I probably am earning overtime. Good thing you remembered. You're not such a bad boss after all. Not as good as I'll be, though.
You're not going to be the boss.
We tried.
At time of recording, you can order the RG Rotate direct from Anbernic site starting at $87.99 for the black model and $107.99 for the silver model. The unit featured in this video is a silver unit sent to me by Anbernic for the purposes of this review. As is always required, all opinions are my own, I'm not getting paid, and they are not seeing this review before it is published. It's time to hop on our mount and ride into Spec Town. The Anbernic RG Rotate is powered by the Unisoc T618 processor. The GPU is a Mali G52. The device has 3 GB of RAM and 32 GB of built-in storage with expansion via a micro SD card slot. The screen is a 3.5-inch IPS screen with a resolution of 720 by 720. Giving the device life is a 2000 mAh battery. For connectivity, this handheld has Wi-Fi 5 as well as Bluetooth 5.0. The device ships with Android 12. Let's go ahead with the unboxing. Inside the box is the unit itself, pretty nicely wrapped. Underneath the device is a cardboard box that houses the included accessories such as a user manual, screen protector, lanyard, replacement L2 and R2 buttons, we'll get to that in a few, and a USB-C charging cable. So first impressions of this device is surprisingly how small it is. Based on all of the trailers and the promotional materials, I was expecting this to be a little bit on the bigger and the thicker side, but the RG Rotate is surprisingly tiny. Even when you open it up, it actually gives me vibes a lot closer to something like the Miyoo Mini Plus. And the Miyoo Mini Plus really has been my favorite pocketable device. I actually have it set up here to only have 10 games that I want to play if I have time in a waiting room, or if I'm standing in line, or if I'm at the doctor's office. I'll usually bring this and I'll keep it in my pocket and take it out when I need to. And I feel like I can do the exact same with the RG Rotate. It's only a little bit taller than the Miyoo Mini Plus, but it has the added benefit of being able to rotate shut, and you can hide the controls so you're not accidentally bumping into them. And you could very easily throw this in a pocket. When it's actually folded closed, it takes up less real estate than the Miyoo Mini Plus does. So I have my preloaded SD card in the unit, and there is a button on the side here where if you hold it, it's going to actually bring you into the RG launcher. And then from there, we can hit the X button to scan the games on the TF card, which is the SD card, and it's going to scan everything that's on the SD card, and then it's going to come up with a list of games, and this will be pretty much your preloaded front end. And if you hit the select button, you can set your favorites, you can search for games, you can access the front end settings, and it's from there that I'm able to change the theme style. There's a default, but then there's also 3 other themes. So let's say I pick theme 3 and click confirm. It's going to take you to a setup like this. And you could pretty much see it just works. Everything is preloaded and pre-configured. While we're here, let's do the Contra test. Oh man, not good at all whatsoever. Ooh, look at that. This is probably the worst Contra test failure that I've seen on this channel to date. You are going to hit diagonals like crazy. So maybe not use the RG Rotate as a Contra machine. Another thing you'll notice about these preloaded cards is that for some systems, they just throw everything in the kitchen sink at you. For example, there is 500 NES games. But then if you go down to N64, there's only 6. Pretty much all of these, you're going to have to switch the physical joystick or the virtual joystick to on, and what that'll do is it'll actually change your D-pad into a joystick. You can use your D-pad and it will register as joystick inputs. You're not going to get that analog reaction, but you're still going to be able to move forward, backwards, or do whatever. You can probably play Star Fox on this just fine. And the same with Sega Saturn. You're only going to get a few games because generally a handheld like this is not meant to play those higher level systems, even though the T618 is actually a lot more capable than you would think. So Anbernic does supply these elevated L2 and R2 buttons, and out of the box, these are just very flat. So before I even get started with any type of device tour, I want to see how hard it is to swap these out. There's a couple of concerns that I have. One, the screws in the back are not your standard Phillips screws, and Anbernic does not supply the proper screwdriver out of the box. And two, I've given this handheld to a couple of coworkers, Nefarious included, and they both complained that this flat L2 and R2 setup is just not right. It makes the handheld much harder to use, and they both said, I wish these buttons were elevated so that I could more easily distinguish which trigger button or which bumper I was pressing. So we're gonna see how hard exactly it is to swap this out, and I'm gonna kind of just do an unscripted teardown. It's not gonna be much of a teardown. I'm just gonna swap these two buttons. I'm gonna use my trusty iFixit kit, and the bit that you need to use is a 1.5. I guess this is a hex bit. This is not a star bit, so it's a 1.5 hex bit. So let's go ahead and start by unscrewing these 4 screws on the back. Man, that was in there pretty darn good. One thing you might not know about your iFixit kit is that the lid here actually serves as screw storage. So we're just going to put that up here. You actually don't need a pry tool or guitar pick. This just slowly comes right out. The only thing you need to be very careful of is there is a speaker connection here. So there's plenty of give to where you just have to take the lid off and just kind of rest it to the side here. You don't need to disconnect anything. Just leave it right there and you should be good to go. All right, so now it should just be a matter of sliding these buttons out. They are connected by a piece of adhesive here. So this is L2 and R2. I'm just going to very carefully peel this adhesive off, but I'm not going to remove the other button. And then we're just going to reuse that adhesive. And we're just going to carefully put this back on. And basically it should kind of look like they're connected. The only difference is now the R2 button is going to be slightly more elevated. And then it should just be a matter of slipping this back into place. They just slide into that metal piece in the middle and just check the micro switches, and yep, they are triggering. So now let's go ahead and take the other one out. Same deal. Let's carefully peel off the L2 from the adhesive. We're going to attach the new L2. Again, just peel that back on, or just tape that back on, slide her back into place. Check the buttons, make sure that they're actuating. And now we can go ahead and just close up the rotate. So easy enough, not too terribly hard. Now I have elevated L2 and R2 buttons, and they are clicking in just fine. Now that we've swapped out our buttons, let's go ahead and tour this device. And we're actually going to start at the top with the L1, L2, R1, and R2 buttons. These are micro switch connections. We're going to do a sound test in a little bit. You could see these are the compact, portable style Anbernic triggers that we just come to expect from a portable Anbernic device. Charging indicator here at the top, one sole USB-C port. On the side you have power and the Anbernic launcher button. You also have the lanyard hole right here. Nothing on the bottom except for an Anbernic logo. And you have SD card slot and volume control on the other side here. On the back, you have one solitary backfiring speaker. I actually do not like this speaker placement. I know this is a handheld that is more meant to be used with headphones, but if you set this down on a table like this, that speaker is going to automatically get muffled. That's probably not a terrible thing. If you're setting it down, you probably don't want to hear it because you're putting it down for the moment, but it really is not the best of speakers. It does the job, but it's not great. If you're in a crowded room, that sound is going to be traveling away from you instead of towards you. And here's the rotate mechanism. The screen rotation or screen orientation automatically switches when you rotate the unit. So you can have a touchscreen only interface here, and you could see that when you close it, it also brings it to the lock screen, which is one of 4 Anbernic styled watch faces, and these are working watch faces. And then when you open it up, it just brings you right back to the home screen. And here you have very clicky dome switch D-pad, face buttons, Anbernic back and home combined button, and select and start button. All right, let's go ahead and do our button sound tests. We'll start with the triggers. Definitely on the louder side. And these buttons are just generally pretty loud. I really just don't see them being quiet. They're all micro switchy dome style buttons. Here's the D-pad. Here's the face buttons. Android button is especially clicky. And then start and select. Those are the quietest ones. Now, because this is an impressions video, I want to focus specifically on what is on the SD card that Anbernic sent with this device to mimic what you as a consumer will see if you opt to get an SD card with your device purchase. I also launched these games from the built-in RG launcher that comes pre-installed with this device. If you're playing these games right out of the box, starting with 4x3 content like NES, there are pre-installed bezels that will fill the black bars that would show up at the top and bottom of the screen. It's nice that they're there, but there are better ways to play 4x3 content on this device that will fill up more of that screen, which I'm going to cover in my final review. The same is true for Game Boy and Game Boy Color. On the bright side, the bezels fit the integer scaling that Anbernic decided to go with, but with a small 1:1 screen, you can get these systems to display full screen as well. I personally would rather the content fill the whole screen. The T618 is powerful enough to handle Dreamcast in RetroArch without needing the standalone emulator, but you might want to temper your expectations on which games you would actually want to play. There is a built-in toggle on the RG Rotate that will change the D-pad to a joystick, but it's not full analog, so playing something like Sonic Adventure 2 will not necessarily be a great time. I found Sonic just very hard to control. GameCube was scaled to fit the screen with the Dolphin MMJR emulator included in this device. Things look a little weird stretched with this 1:1 screen, but GameCube games will run on this device. Just like with Dreamcast, I would just temper your expectations as to what games will work best on this handheld. Beautiful Joe seemed to work fine because it controls well with a D-pad. This game benefits from installing those elevated L2 and R2 buttons as well, because it will be easier to hit those buttons on the fly when trying to slow time or speed it up. So this seems like a good spot to kind of wrap things up. There is a lot more to talk about with this device, including non-gaming functions like using this device as a digital audio player. I'll have more information on that in my final review, so stay tuned. And if there's anything specific you want to see in that final review, please let me know in the comments below. But for now, that'll do it for this video. If you already missed me, please feel free to like, subscribe, and join me in the Retro Handhelds Discord. Please consider joining these wonderful people who grow and support this channel through Patreon. Thank you so much for watching. Until the next one, bye for now.